What's up, everybody? Etsy Boy Meme here. Today, I watched Mr. Robot, which is actually the first and only show. It's a great show. It's on Amazon Video. It's a great film, not film, show. My parents watched it, but then they stopped watching it because apparently they're intelligible and they didn't, and they didn't know that subtitles were a viable option, so they just stopped watching it. But they've started watching it again today, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to watch it with us? You specifically told us to watch it because you told us it was good." I've only read the reviews, so I wasn't 100% sure if they thought it would be good, but anyway, it's a great show. Okay. This is going to be a non-spoiler review. So first off, in the first episode, now this is not a spoiler. If you are one of those people who refuses to even go on the internet when a movie comes out, then don't watch this. But if you're the kind of person who reads like reviews and trailers, then like keep watching because this is barely even a spoiler. The person, he's at a therapist, and I'm gonna try and be as vague as possible, and he looks at her bag, and he's like, she hates, did you see that? My lights are flickering. Hold on. It's not even raining outside. It's not even raining outside. I don't understand why my lights are going out. It's very strange. Anyway, so he looks at his therapist bag. I'm trying to be as vague as possible. And he's like, hey. And he's very good at reading people. So he's like, yeah, and in his head he's like, you don't like being entertained by books. You like being indulged by books. I hate the Hunger Games, and the Hunger Games is disgusting. And I learned later that, I thought that he was just going on a rant about the Hunger Games in the middle of this therapy session, but turns out it was the therapist's bag, and my parents pointed this out to me later. But, okay, so the big evil corporation is a company called E-Corp. Their company logo is just a massive E. I couldn't stop laughing whenever the logo was on. That's the extent of the spoiler kind of bits. That's not even. So also, I really enjoy how the show is very real. Like, I really enjoy how the show uses actual terminology that people actually use, and they don't use like 5 keywords, and the Matrix animation is on one of the screens, and they're like, I'm hacking into their mainframe. That doesn't happen. The thing that happens is they're like, oh, so-and-so sudo rm-r-rf and or whatever, and formats all of their things and whatever. It's literal code. It's not code. It's literal Linux terminal commands, which I actually understand and they actually use in the context of the situation. And so I really enjoy that. I really enjoy how they did their research and they aren't hacking into the mainframe. Not that I would know anything about that. No, I don't, genuinely. But I do mainly know some of the Linux terminal. I have a Raspberry Pi here, and while I know that the Raspberry Pi isn't really too good of a thing to run to test out the Linux terminal, but I do know, like, I don't know, I do know, like, CD and Nano and stuff, all the main ones you need to do basic things with, and also I know how to delete files, etc. But, yeah, so I do know the Linux file system, and they use it. They actually use it in the context of the situation, and I know I'm repeating myself, but I just think it's a great thing that they're actually using real things that exist to hack into things. And they actually use hacking commands. Time for some cons about the show. There are barely any cons. It's a great show. They actually use real terminology, and it's pretty realistic. But one main gripe I have with the show is how pretentious the main character is. Now, I'm not going to reveal much about the main character because revealing anything about him is kind of a spoiler. Again, if you refuse to go on the internet once a movie comes out, then don't watch this. But if you're just the person who watches trailers and stuff, then you wouldn't really care about the spoiler. You can't even call it a spoiler if you watch trailers and stuff. But he's a very pretentious person, and I don't mean pretentious. Like, he himself is a fine person. Like, I wouldn't mind him, but it's just the show itself. It's a very... Okay, here's a good example. Again, no internet people, stop. But they do this. But he did this thing. There was this scene where somebody and he was like, "I hacked into their Facebook," and then it was no, that's not what happened. Some guy, some girl or something was like, "Hey, I looked for you on Facebook. You weren't there," and he was like, "I'm not on Facebook. I hate Facebook. It's part of the society that we live in. We live in a society. I'm 14 and this is deep." that's kind of the vibe I got from the show. Like, I understand how bad the society he lives in is, and it's based off of our society, of course. But I don't know. I just find it very strange because the way the show handles itself as if it's some sort of catalyst for destruction on evil corporations, and while I'm not against this, like, sure, kill evil corporations or whatever, it's just they handle it in a very, very strange way. They just say it in a very, like, if you don't do this, you're a bad person. And while I have a Facebook, I don't use it, but I wouldn't say I hate Facebook. And this was made in 2015, too, before all the Facebook controversy happened. Well, it was starting up in 2015, but it didn't really mainly happen. So yeah, that's it basically. Review over. You can stop watching now. I just have one thing to say about my Razer keyboard. Something really annoying is here. I'll show it to you. So if I open Razer Synapse, there's kind of a gripe I have with this. So whenever I open a certain game, let's say Terraria, I have my WASD keys and all the things that have to do with Terraria light up in white. So then, I don't know if I forgot the buttons or something. I don't know, I just think it looks cool. Same with CSGO and Half-Life, because I recently started playing Half-Life. And I really hate how whenever you go from, like, my main typing thing with all the ripples, like this, like, and then you open Terraria and it takes, like, 20 years. Wait for it. It takes like 20 years to show up. And I know it can just cut to the main effect for that said game, but it doesn't. It really, really doesn't. It really annoys me. I just hate how it fades in. It fades in. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I don't know. This is one of those things where it's like I was trying to customize my keyboard to where it was... I have a very annoying voice. I just noticed this. I'm sorry. I was trying to make it where... See, there's like, okay, on my main typing thing, you can see how there is a burning fire effect, you know? Burning fire. But I wanted to make it to where instead of a white ripple, it was like a transparent ripple, and behind this fire effect, there's a blue fire effect, so it looked like the ripple was making the fire blue. And that would have been super cool. That would have been really cool, but I feel like there's a certain limit of customizability whenever you get a Chroma-enabled product. And once you hit that, it's just really disappointing. And it's not like I hate this keyboard. I love this keyboard. And that is just a very minor gripe. My dad also had this situation. He was like, is it possible I can just make the certain keys light up around the key I'm pressing? Kind of like the reactive effect, but not. Where it was just like a larger bit where it lit up. I don't know. But yeah. We got a 10-minute video. Wow. And it's 6:25 too. Alright, see ya.